Today we're going to be reading the poem Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. And first of all, I want to say this is not one of my three poems that I wrote. This is a poem that I grabbed from the internet and I really like because the message it gave is very powerful. And I think that every person can read this poem and just see a different perspective of what the poem means, and it will help them a lot. So this poem speaks to me at the level of theme, and the theme for me is that this poem helps you focus on a hopeful determination to rise above difficulties and or discouragement. And what I want to say with this is that for me the theme is that you always need to rise and follow your dreams, because one day by working hard you will reach that dream. And what this poem tries to tell me is that we all have bad days and we all try to just go away with them. And sometimes in those bad days we fall and we just don't want to get up because we think this is too difficult or I'm never gonna do it. But this poem makes me change of mindset. It makes me think that if I rise and I continue going, I will reach my dream and I will reach my goal. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trot me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you bested with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons unlike suns, we shall certainly have tides. Just like hope springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my hatiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard? 'Cause I laugh like I got gold mines digging in my very own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling I bury in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Okay, so after reading this poem and analyzing it, this poem is about the African American times where there were slaves, and Maya Angelou, like she's an African American and her family, and she had to live through this. She made this poem about how she felt and what she wanted to do. Like for example, in this the figurative language that she used, such as you may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like arrow, I'll rise. And what I interpreted with that is that each time her owner, let's say, is like sees her and says, gives them orders and treats them bad, she just she just wants to rise. She doesn't care, and she's saying that each time they hurt her, she will still rise, and no matter what, she will do it, and she'll come back stronger, and she'll reach the goal that was to become free. And also, the structure of this poem makes me think that way, that it's about the African American times, because the structure of this poem is all in four stanzas, and in each of the stanza it ends with I'll rise, and it gives an example, for example here, but still like dust I'll rise, or still like air I'll rise. And what looking at the stanzas and the structure, it makes me feel like she's given an example of each of the things that happened to her. For example, you may write me down in history. What I think about that is that all the kids that died and all the people that died and become slave, they're in history right now, and she's like saying, I don't care what you do, like you may write me down in history, you can put my name down there, but no matter what, if I will die, I will rise and my people will be free. And also, um, in the way she says, just like moons and like suns, with their serenity ties, just like hope straining high, still I'll rise. And that one for me was the most powerful one, because she's explaining like moons and the sun, like they're so high up, and sometimes there's dark days when the sun goes out. And she has also dark days, but still, the next day or the next weeks, she will rise and shine again with all her family. The tone in this poem is something very special, because if you read the poem with no tone and you don't emphasize specific words or metaphors or just a figurative language, it's just a piece of paper with words written on it and has no meaning. But if I put tones on specific words and make my voice go louder or softer or slower or faster, the poem has a huge meaning and it just changes the way you think. I'm gonna read the first stanza with no tone and just fast and slow. Like I'm not gonna emphasize no word, and then I'm gonna read it with tone and emphasizing, and you'll see the difference. You may write me down in history with your bitter twisted lies. You may trot me in the very dirt, but still like dust I'll rise. Reading it like that has no meaning. It's just a bunch of words together. But if I read it with tone, you may write me down in history with your bitter twisted lies. You may trot me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Reading it with tone like I just read makes the poem has a lot more meaning, because in that small stanza that I read, you can actually look in your head and just imagine it that you're actually there and you're just like laying down in the dust and you're trying to rise, but there's always this person who doesn't let you. But after the time, a wind passes, and in this metaphor that says like dust I'll rise, you're gonna rise with the dust and you'll come back more powerful. You may write me down in history with your bitter twisted lies. You may trot me in the very dirt, but still like dust I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you bested with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, we shall certainly have tides. Just like hope springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my hatiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I got gold mines digging in my very own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling I bury in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.